while, as well as we are going to discuss about for loop too. Okay, and I think you already have an idea about what how to use these loops, what are the main requirement about these loops. So we are just going to discuss about some of the basic cases, okay? Because in Java, you have some constraint while when you are basically going to implement these loops. Okay, so let's start it out. So in the last lecture, we have just discussed about the while loop. So when to use while loop generally, because you have while loop, you have do while loop, you have for loop. So generally in most of the scenarios, when you don't know the number of iteration in advance, so in that scenario, it is best suitable. I'm not saying that you cannot use for loop for those scenarios. You can use it, but it is best suitable if you don't know the number of iterations in the advance. So go for while loop. So for while loop, you directly give the condition, and based on that, if that condition is true, you just implement. It will go directly inside your body structure. That will be your statement one, or statement two. It will execute, and after that you can perform different operations, like for that particular condition you can perform increment or decrement. It's up to you. Okay, so one more thing about which we have discussed about in while loop is that it always return us what your boolean value. Okay, always remember, similar to your if loop, if condition or if statement, in your while loop too, it is going to return only boolean value. So in this condition, you cannot write any number like that. If you are going to use any number over there, so it will give us an error. So you can see it over there. The error which we are getting it over there is int cannot be converted to boolean. Okay, because it is always looking for boolean value, that is your true or false. Other than that, if you are going to pass any other value over there, then it will give you an error. Okay, similarly, curly braces, similar to your your if statement, these are optional, but again the statement is similar to of or if loop is that you can it will take only one statement. Okay, and always remember that that particular one statement should not be declarative statement. So if you are going to execute your first code, so you can see it over there, it will work fine. Okay, so infinitely it will execute what your hello world. Why? Because it will remain true. So it will execute your hello world multiple several times, infinite times, like that. Similarly, you can write it down semicolon just after this while true. Again, it is correct. Also, it is called as no statement while loop. Okay. So in while loop, we haven't written any statement. So that is why we call it as no statement while loop. So it is valid in Java. Third case, you can see it over there that after that, we are not using curly braces. Okay. So as I told you that we cannot use your declarative statement, but here we are using your declarative statement. So again, what will happen? We will get an error over here that you cannot use declarative statement. But if you want to use a declarative statement, okay, after inside your while loop, so you have to use curly braces. So without curly braces, you cannot use declarative statement. So you can see it over there. All these three are valid statement. It means that you will get the output, but for this case, you will get a compilation error. Okay, like you cannot declare inside this your while loop. Similarly, here you can see it over there. We have one more issue that is basically related to while loop is that suppose if this condition will remain true, okay, means you cannot change that particular condition. Suppose whatever the conditions we have, and that particular condition is either telling me true or it is telling me false. If I am going to execute both the cases, then again we will get a compile time error in the case of your while loop. Okay, so why we will get an error? Because you know that if we are going to execute this code, so automatically because this condition will remain true. Okay, so what will happen? Infinite times it will execute this statement. Okay, so you know that it will never be able to execute this statement. It will never be able to execute this statement. That is why you will get an error. The error which you will get over there is unreachable statement. Means you cannot this statement. Why? Because Here you have an infinite loop. Similarly, for false condition, you know that you cannot execute this statement. Why? Because every time you will get a false statement. Because here we are not using variables. Okay. Here we are just telling our while in the while condition, we are just directly writing it like, okay, here you will get false. So you cannot turn this false into true. Okay. You already know about that. Because here we are not using variable. So we cannot change this value. So that is why again we are not able to execute this statement. So that is why we will get a compile time error, and the compile time error which we'll get is related to again unreachable statement, and this is the error we will get. Means after this we are not able to execute even this statement. Okay, like now, related to final keyword, as I told you that final keyword is generally used to make your number or variable constant value. Means after that you cannot modify the number, okay, of that particular variable. So if your data type or your variables are simple variables, okay, they are not constant, then if you are going to execute this program, then it will not give you any error. So the reason why it will not give you any error, because it might be possible that you have written some sort of code inside this body in such a way that you are updating the value of num1 and num2. Means you can modify the value of num1 and num2. Even though right now you can see it over there, 10 is less than 20, it will give us true value every time. Okay, but here our compiler will look this code in such a way that okay, it might be possible that you might change the value, the variable value of num1 and num2, because it is possible in Java. You can change the value at any time whenever you want to change it. So that is why it will not give us any error, the first case. But in the second case, we will get an error. Why we will get a compile time error? Because here we have mentioned these variables are of your final data, final type. Okay, it means that now I cannot modify the value of num1 and num2. It means it will always be remain 10 is less than 20. Okay, you cannot change the variable values. Why? Because here we have mentioned it is final. Even though if you are going to change the value later in the program, like num1 is equals to 20, again you will get a compile time error. The error which you will get, that final value you cannot modify final variable value. Okay, like that. So similarly, in the second case, because these are the constant values, and every time you will get what the true value over there. Okay, so that is why in the second case you will get a compile time error, while in the first case you will get an output, and the output which you will get over there is infinite times it will execute hello world, hello world, hello world. Okay? Even though in the first case you can see that you are not able to reach the second statement, this system.out.println hi world, but why our compiler is not giving us any error? Because according to our compiler, it might be possible that you have written some code that you are somehow going to modify these values, because here you are not using the constant value. But in the second case, you are using constant variables. So our compiler will automatically understand the code, and it will say that, okay, you will never reach this statement if you have made these variables at what your constant variable. So always you will get true value. So that is why you will get an error over there. That is your unreachable state. Okay, so this is all about your while loop. So you already know that the functionality of while loop is quite simple. In generally, in most of you will how you are going to use while loop. First of all, you are going to initialize some value. Then this is the condition you are going to check inside the while loop. This is the body, and then if you want to, you are going to perform some operation on that particular variable. Here I am incrementing the value I equals to I plus plus, because I don't want an infinite loop. If I am not going to write this statement, then what will happen? It will go inside the infinite loop. Okay, why? Because I am not incrementing the value of I. So every time the value of I will be remain 1, so it will again every time it will satisfy this condition, and it will always it will execute this statement. So I will always, it means it will execute this body, or you can say that this statement infinite time. So that is why we always try to update the value of that the variable which we have used. So here we are incrementing the value I equals to I plus 1. So next time the value of I will become 2. So you can see it over there first 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once the value of I will become 6, now the value of I will become 6. So 6 is less than equal to 5. So here it will return as false value. So once it will return as the false value, then it will terminate our entire while loop. Okay. So that is why you only got the output, that is count 1, count 2, count 3, count 4, and your count 5. Okay, so this is how first step is your initialize a counter. Second one, where you are basically checking for the condition. Third is you are basically executing whatever the condition you have. And fourth one, you are incrementing the value. So in the flow chart, if you are going to represent this code, so this is how basically our code is represented. So you can see it over there. I is I plus 1. Again, it is going to increment the value. Now my I value will become 6. Okay. So that is why what will happen, it will go directly, it will make this condition false, and it will directly terminate over this. So similarly, like our for while loop, we have a do while loop too. Okay. So do while loop is actually one kind of your while loop. So when to use do while loop, okay, and when to use while loop. So you know the functionality of while loop, okay. So but when to use do while loop. So the condition is if we want to execute loop body at least once, okay, at least once, then we should go for do while loop. So what do you mean by at least once? At least once is that even though if your conditions are not satisfied, okay. So what do you mean by this is if let's assume my I value is 5 or 6 over there, okay. So you know that the value of I is 6 over there, so it will not satisfy this condition. So it will directly terminate this loop, okay. So it means that it is not going to execute this body. But in the case of your do while loop, even though if your condition is false, okay, at least one time it will execute this state. So how it will execute this statement? So the body of do while loop is this one. Okay. So the syntax is you will first write do, then whatever the statement you are going to write, you will write it, and then it will check for the condition. So like in the earlier case, even though if our I value is 6, let's assume, and here I have written a condition I is less than 5, then what will happen? It will first of all it will execute the statement, then it will check. Okay. So that is why at least one time it will execute your these statement, even though if it is false. Okay. Like in that scenario, sometimes you will get in some programs that you have to at least execute that particular statement. So in that scenario, always go for do while. Okay. So first of all, you can see it over there. Code inside body of do while will be executed once, even though if it is true or false. Then after we are checking for the condition. If it is true, then again we are going to execute those statement. If it is false, then we will end the loop. Okay? But you can see it over there. At least we are executing one time this loop, even though it is true or false. If it is true, then multiple times we will execute this code, the statement inside our the body of do while loop. Otherwise, we will end our. Okay. So this is how basically this is just an example. So in this example, see what we have done. We have num equals to 0. Okay. So first of all, what it will do, it will first of all take the value over there. So that is why we are getting num 0 over there. Okay. Because initially the value of num is 0. Then after we are incrementing the value, then we are checking the condition, whether 1 is less than 10 or not. So yes, the condition is true. So again, it will go again back to our do loop, do body, and again it will print num1, num2. So you can see it over there. It will print the value num 10 9. Okay, because once in the 10th position, because 9 times you will get num 9. Now it will update the value num equals to num plus 1. So the num value will become what? Num value will become 10. Okay? So 10 is less than 10. So the condition will become false. So that is why it will terminate our entire loop. So that is why the output which you will get over there is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 till 9. So now you know that when to use while loop and when to use do while. So if in any interview or in any code in all the programming language you have do while loop. Okay? So do while loop always use in such scenarios where you want that at least one time it should execute it should execute my code. Okay, either my code is false or not. Okay, even it is not satisfying my condition. If you want to implement those scenarios or that scenario, then it is always it is always it is all it means that you should always go for do while. Okay, like now again similar to your while loop, in the case of do in your do while loop too, the curly braces are optional. Okay, so similar to your while loop you are not using, so again the condition is same that without curly braces it will take only one condition. Now you know about this all these case, and it should not be declared. So like in your if or like in your while, similarly in your if and while, even in the case of do while loop too, if you are not using curly braces, then in that scenario, what will happen? It will consider only one state. After that, if you are going to read, it will give you an error over here. While in the case, so here you can see it over there. If I'm going to execute this code, so this code will execute fine, which means you will not get any error. Similarly, in the second case, this is the representation of no statement. Okay, no statement of do while loop. So if you don't want to write, so it is valid in Java. Again, the third case is your see here I haven't used the curly braces, but I have declared some variable value. So you know about this thing that whenever we are not using curly braces, so it will, and if we are declaring some variable, so automatically it will give us an error. And fourth one is that we haven't used semicolon, and even we haven't used any body after that. Okay, so it is mandatory either to use semicolon or either to use curly braces or either to use some statement like in the first case. Okay, otherwise you will get an error. So for this, out of these four, your first statement and second statement are true, but your third statement and your fourth statement are what?
Sir, please explain the third statement once again. Third one.
Okay. So in the case of third one, again, see what we are doing it, we are not using curly braces. Got it? So whenever we are not using curly braces now, so in that scenario, you cannot declare any variable. Okay. So, but here in this case, we are not using curly braces inside our do statement, but what we are doing it, we are declaring some variable. So in Java, declaration is not allowed. Even in the case of while, we have seen like in when we are using it in the case of while also, if we are going to write it down like a while true, and if I'm going to write int a equals to 0 or 10, so what will happen? Again, I will get an error. Similarly, here also in your do part, if you are not going to use these curly braces, and if you are directly writing, if you are directly declaring some statement, okay, so no, that you cannot declare any statement. You means declarative statements are not allowed if you are not using any curly braces like that. Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
it is invalid in Java. So similar to your while, if and your in your do while, uh, if you are not using curly braces, always remember, please don't use declarative statement. Okay. Yeah. So similarly, let's go for one more more examples. Okay. So here in this case, what will happen if we are going to execute our first example? Okay. So the what output we will get. So how our compiler will execute our first code? It will first execute this statement. You will get the output du over there. Then your condition is true. Okay. What it is telling us? It is telling us about that our condition is true, and then it means that it is an infinite loop. Okay, it means that it is a infinite loop because every time it is going to execute bu, so you can see it over there, we are not able to reach this statement. We are not able to reach this statement. That is why we will get a compile time error in your first case, like similar to your while loop. okay, because you know that every time our condition gets true, so what will happen, it will give us an error, and the error which we will get over there is system, again unreachable statement, system.out.print CSE, because we are not able to execute this statement because every time our condition is true, okay. While in the second case, if we are going to write while false, okay, so in the case of while statement, we have seen that if even though if you have used while is your false statement, it will give us an compile time error. But in the case of do while loop, it will not give us an error. Why it will not give us an error? Because even though if your condition is false, it should execute at least, this body will be executed at least one time, okay. So that is why here in this case, first of all, it will go, it will print BU. Then after that, it will check the condition is false. So that is why it will terminate our entire loop. And after that, it will directly go through and print system.out.print CSE. So that is why you will get the output BU CSE in the second case. Okay. Now in the third case, what we have used these numbers, okay, and these are the variables. These are not constant values. Always remember. So if we are going to use these variables, and if we want to perform this, so you know that what will happen infinite times, because this condition will always be satisfied. Why? Because 10 is less than 20, so it will always return me what? True value. So that is why, but these are the variables. So that is why it will always, it will give me an infinite times which value? BU value. So I will get the output as BU infinite times. Okay, but it will not throw us an error because the reason is remain same, because our compiler will consider it, because we can modify these values. Okay, these are not constant values. So that is why it will not give us any error. But if we are going to make these variables as our constant, and if we are performing this value, so this will remain true. Okay, why? Because these values, these variables are our constant. So that is why again it will give throw a same error. That is what your unreachable statement, system.out.print CSE. Okay, like this. So always remember when you will get an error and when you will not get. Okay, so you will get an error only when you will say that okay, your condition will remain true and you cannot modify that condition. Always remember. So in the first condition, in the first case, you cannot modify this condition. It will remain true. Can you change it? No, you cannot change it. In the fourth case, can you change it? No, you cannot change that condition. It will remain true. But in the third case, you can modify it. How can you modify it? It might be possible. I might have written some code in do body, and I have written num1 is equals to what we call it as 30. Okay, let's assume. So now I can modify the value of num1. So it is possible. So that is why it will not throw us an error. Okay, like this. Now we have completed your while loop as well as your do while loop. Now we have one more loop that is known as your for loop. So I think you already have an idea about what is a for loop, how to use
Sir,
for. Yes.
sir, can you explain the first example once again? This do while loop.
Okay. First do while. Okay. See, in this case, what is happening over there? See, in the case of do while loop, first it will execute this statement. I am writing 1. It will execute this statement, line number 2. Then it will go 3. If this condition is true, again it will go 4 over there, 5 over there. Again it will go 6 over there. Okay, so again you will see that it keeps on repeating this same loop over there multiple times, n number of times. But in our program, what we have written one more statement, and this statement is outside while. Okay, please don't consider that this statement system.out.println or print CSE is inside while loop. It is not inside do while loop. It is outside. Okay, so it is not at all related with your do while loop. Okay, so what will happen here in this case? Why it is throwing us an error? It is throwing us an error. Why? Because you know that you have written a boolean value true over there. Okay, because you know that while condition will take some value. Okay, some boolean value. Now Is it possible? Can you tell me about, can I modify this value and can I make it false? Is it possible? Can I write a code so that I can modify this value? Is it possible?
No, sir.
So it is not possible. You cannot modify. See, because you haven't used any variable over there. Okay. So now if it is not possible, so it means that it will keep executing this statement infinite number of times, and it will never terminate what this loop. It will never terminate this loop. It means that it will never execute this statement. It will never execute this statement. That is why you are getting an error is unreachable statement. Unreachable means you are not able to reach it. Okay, so that
Yes,
is
sir.
why you get an error. While in the second case, see, I'm again going to explain you this case too. Why I'm not getting an error? Because you can say it, okay, we might get an error in the third case too. Why? Because 10 is less than 30, and it will again give me what true value, okay, n number of times. But why we are not getting an error? The reason why we are not getting an error in the third case is that might be possible, okay, because it is possible that I might change the value of num1 and num2 variable, because it might be possible in do loop I might have written num1 as what 40 means I can modify the value, or 50 I can modify the value of num1. Okay, so just because of that I can make this condition false. So it is possible, okay, if we are using variables. So that is why we are not going to get any compile time error. But always remember that you will never get, you are not even in this case too, like if I am going to execute this code right now, you are not able to it will never able to execute this statement also. Okay, system.out.print CSE, here you will again get the output bu infinite times. So it will execute this code multiple infinite number. Okay, like this. Any other doubt?
No, sir.
So let's go for loop. So you know that in for loop, when to use for loop generally. So for loop is a concise version of your while loop. Why it is a concise version? Because in while loop, what you are doing, first of all, you are initializing a variable. Okay. Then you are writing the condition, whether I is less than equal to 5, whatever the condition. Then you are writing the body, whatever the body you want to write. Then basically you are performing some operation like increment operator or decrement, whatever the operation, some operation you are performing on this. Now what they have done, they have done that in order to make your code more readable and to make your code more concise, what they have done that in a single line you can write this code, entire code, like int I equals to 0, and then this I is less than equal to 5 and I plus plus. Now in a single line you are writing the entire condition. Okay, so for loop is used generally. When to use for loop, even though it's up to you, it's a programmer's choice whether they want to go for loop or while loop. But it is recommended that when we know exactly how many times the code block will be executed, so it is right like in here in this case, okay, because I know that how many times this code, this entire block will be executed. Like here in this case, how many times? 6 times. Okay, so that is why what will happen, I know about that how many times this code will be executed. That is why I will go for loop. Otherwise, I'm not saying that you cannot go for while loop, even though you can use while loop, but it is recommended. Okay, like this. Now, so in your for loop, you generally have 4 parts. Okay, first one is your initialization, because as I have shown you, first of all, you are initializing some value. Second one, you are going for checking the condition. Third part is your increment, decrement, or it might be possible you might can perform some operations like I equals to I plus 5, I plus 5, and whatever the operation you want to perform. And last, fourth one is your statement. That is inside your body, what statement you are going to write. Okay. So this is the syntax of your for loop. First, you are going to initialize something. Second one is your Boolean expression. So always remember, okay, always remember that your second statement will always return what some Boolean expression. If you are going to again write some constant value in the second one, okay, so you will get an error. And third one is what, where you can increment, decrement, or whatever the operation you want to perform in that particular. And all these statements are basically being separated by your semicolon. Always remember. Okay. Then we have these statements. So how basically our for loop gets executed? Always remember, because this is very important. Sometimes students get confused that how our for loop gets executed. So first of all, it will execute, and it will, once you are going to start your for loop. So how your compiler will execute? First of all, it will go for in your initialization step. Okay. First it will go for your initialization step, and then what it will do, it will check for the condition. Okay, always remember, it will check for the condition where this condition is true or false. Then it will go for the your statement, whether these statements are true or false. Then it will go your increment and decrement. Okay, always remember, it's not like that first it will go for 1 2, it will increment decrement, and then it will go directly to the statement. First of all, it will initialize the value, then it will go to the boolean statement, then it will go to the whatever the statements you have inside your for loop, then it will go for your increment decrement statement. Then after, always remember, it will go here. So the fifth step is this. So this step, always remember, this step will be executed exactly one time. Exactly one time it will, our in this step gets executed. Okay, it's not like that every time it will this step gets executed. No, this step will be executed exactly one time. Okay, like this. So after that it will go for 5, then it will go 6 over there, then it will go 7 over there, then it will go 8 over there, then it will go 9 over there, then it will go C. Now our first initialization step will is not basically participating. Okay, so always keeps in your mind. Now, so again, here in the similar to your while loop, do while loop, or if statement, here in this case also curly braces are optional. Without curly braces, we can take only one statement which should not be declared. So always remember, if you are not using curly braces, it is acceptable. But always remember, it will take consider only one statement, and always remember that statement should not be declared. Like similar to your while loop, do while loop, as well as your what we have gone through your if statement. So now this initialization is very important. Okay, so this will be executed only once. Always remember. Yes, any question? Okay. So this initialization step will be executed only exactly one time. Okay, not more than that, not less than that. So it will be executed at least one time. Usually, we declare and perform initialization of the variable in this section. So generally what we will do, we generally initialize some variable over there, like I is equals to 2, 0, 1, 2. We generally initialize some variable. int I is equals to 1, 2, whatever the variable we want. Okay. Now this thing is again very important. Here we can declare multiple variables of same data type, but different data type variables we cannot declare. Always remember, okay? So in the initialization step or initialization of your for loop, you can declare multiple variables. Like I can write int I equals to 0, j equals to 1. It is valid in Java. But if I'm going to write int I equals to 0, byte b equals to, so it is invalid. Similarly, I cannot write multiple time, even though I am using, say, I have written data type multiple times. Okay, even though I and j are of your same integer data type, even though it is not valid in your initialization statement. Okay, so always keep in your mind, if you want to declare multiple statement, multiple variable in your initialization step of your for loop, so you can write it like for a single data type, you can write it. Okay, so first statement is valid, while your second statement as well as your third statement is invalid in Java. Okay, always keeps in your mind. Now in the initialization step, yes.
सर थर्ड वाला मतलब इनवैलिड क्यों है?
It is invalid. Why? The reason why it is invalid in Java, because according to the initialization step, you cannot write multiple times any data type. Okay. So if you have written one time some data type, so you can only what our compiler will only check for the variables. Okay. Again, if you are going to write even similar data types, so it will throw us an error. Got it? So by the way, it is not required, na? It is of no use. So that is why compiler said, okay, if it is not, why to make things more complex? So that is why it is recommended that if you are using similar data types, so go for it. Otherwise, if you are getting different data type, it means that you cannot declare different. Even 2 times you cannot declare even a data type like that. Okay.
So
Yes.
it's exactly the same points goes for the initialization for loop also.
Yeah, this is for your for loop initialization.
And while loop. Like even if I
Why in while loop you generally initialize earlier. Okay. So generally you never initialize, you only check for the condition inside your this while loop. So for while loop, you first initialize a variable, any variable. If you want to initialize, first you initialize a variable over there. Okay.
so
And then
that's what
here,
I'm asking ki when we initialize, can we do it for multiple variable type, data type, or only
where here,
yeah.
yeah, here you can go for it. No issue at all. Okay. Even in the case of for loop also, if you are basically if you want to check for the condition, suppose what I want to say is that suppose you have written int I equals to 0, int j equals to 1, and then I have written a code for I is equals to, suppose I have written num, for example, num is equals to 0. So in the condition I can use I is greater than 0, and okay, like this I can use any variables over there. It's up to me. J is greater than 0 and num is greater than 0, like that. It is possible. So for condition, you can use any number of variables, but that those variables should be defined. Okay, like you have to initialize some value on that, on those particular, on those variables. Otherwise, our boolean this value this when we are going to check those conditions, so we will get an error. Okay. So similarly, in the case of while loop also, we can initialize any number of variables over there. But where we are facing or where we are getting an error, the error which we are getting is inside initialization. So if we want to initialize some variable inside our initialization statement of for loop, so over there you can initialize multiple variables, but they should comes under category of same data type. Okay, so you cannot declare different data type. Now one more thing which is very important is related to your, in the initialization section, we can take any valid Java statement. Okay, so we can even write system.out.println or print any statement we can write here as well as here. Always remember. Okay, you can write any statement even in the initialization step as a, it's not like that in initialization step only you can initialize a variable. I can show you one example. Okay, let me, yeah. So this is an example. So in this example, what you can see, I have initialized a variable num is equals to 10 over there. Now inside my for loop, what I have done in my initialization, I have executed this statement system.out.println hi. Now this is checking my condition, and for my increment and post increment, again I have written some statement over there. Okay, now I have written system.out.println hello world, and now I am incrementing the value num equals to num plus 1. So if I am going to execute, okay, if I am going to execute this statement, so how many times this statement get executed? Only once. Why it will executed once? Because your num value is what? 10 over there. First it will check 10 is less than 10. Yes, this condition is true. Now it will execute this statement. Now it will increment the value num is equals to 11. Okay, num is equals to 11, and now 11 is less than 10. No, a condition is false, so it will terminate our code. Now the question, the thing which the concept which I just want to tell you is that you can write any statement. Okay, you can write any statement inside these two statement of for loop. So that is why the output which you will get if you are going to execute this statement is what? First of all, you will get the output high over there. Okay, because you know that first of all it will execute your first initialization condition, then it will check for the condition num is less than equal to 10, condition is true. Okay, condition is true, so now it will execute this statement. So the statement it will execute is what? Your hello world. It will execute the statement hello world. Now it will increment the value num is equals to num plus 1. Now what will happen? It will basically it not satisfying our condition. So that is why in the first case what you will get the output hi hello world bye. Okay, so you know, as I told you, first it will execute this statement, then 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 it will execute this statement. So for the first case, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is why we will get the output hi, hello world, and bye in the first case. Okay, so it is valid in Java. Okay, so you can use if in any program if it will give you what will be the output of this code, so you will never please don't say that you will get a compile time error. No, you will not get any compilation error over there. Okay, so here you can use these statements. Okay, any statement you can use. Okay, over there. Now,
Sir,
yes.
sir, what if we put int is equals to 9, then what will be the output?
Okay, so now the question is if num instead of in num if we are going to write 9, this is your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so see how our programs gets executed. First of all, you know that high it will execute initialization step, so we will get the output high over there. Okay, now it will check the condition 9 is less than equal to 10, condition is true. Okay, now it will it will go for hello world. So now I am just writing HW. Okay, it will print hello world over there. Now it will increment the value num equals to num plus 10. Okay, now the value of num will become what? 10 over there. Okay, now it will execute the value, it will execute this statement, we will get bye over there. Now it will again, now 10, now the value of updated value of num is what? 10. 10 is less than equal to 10, condition is true. Again it will print the value hello world over there. Okay, now it will increment the value num equals to num plus 1. Now the value of num will become what? 11. Now it will print the value bye again. Okay, after this it will check for this condition whether this condition is true or false. Now this condition is false because now 11 is less than equal to 10, condition is false, so that is why it will terminate our program. So the output which we will get over there is hi hello world bye hello world and bye. Got the point? So it will execute only one time this statement. Always remember your first statement, which we generally call it as initialization statement, it will be executed exactly one time, not less than that, not more than that. Okay. Now let's take second case. So in the second case, what I have done now, the value of num is what? 10. Now the value of num is what? 10 over there. Okay. Now what I am doing, I am just executing the value here high. Here I am not basically checking any condition. Here I am just returning the value true over there. Means every time the value will remain what? True over there. Okay. And then what I have done, I just want to execute. I have just written in the post pre-increment statement. I have just written this statement, and then I have written this statement like that. Okay. Now how my compiler will execute this code? First of all, it will execute this statement. I will get the output high over there. Okay, like this. Now it will check for the condition. Now the condition is true. Okay. Now after this, it will print system.out.println. So that is why I will get the output hello world over there. Now after that, what I am doing, I have written break statement over there. Okay, so after break statement, you already know that it will execute this statement after break statement. But you know that what break statement generally do? break statement will terminate this entire loop. Okay, so this entire loop gets terminated if we are using this break keyword. So that is why it will terminate our entire loop. So that is why we will get the output only hi and hello world. Okay, any doubt so far? Yes, anyone is having any doubt in these two examples? If you have any, you can ask me. Okay, so what is a generally in most of the scenario you are not going to use these things, okay, like system.out.println. I'm 100% sure that you are not going to use it, but it is valid in Java. Okay, always remember. So using these two examples, what we have learned. Yes, any question?
Sir, actually, I have a question. Initialization happens only once, right? Like in the
Yes.
first example, you have done initialization, it checks the condition, and when it comes out for another one, it does condition again. So initialization high will be printed only once, like always,
Yeah,
if it's true
yeah,
forever.
yeah. Only one time it gets executed. See, in the
Okay.
second case also, na, when I have taken the value of n num equals to 9. So in reality, our this loop gets executed 2 times. Got it? But you can see it over there. Only one time we got the value high over there. But we got the value, these two values 2 times over there. Got the concept now? Got
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes.
Okay, so every time always, so see, that is why I have means executed, and I have shown you these two examples so that you will understand that how our for loop gets executed. Because you can see it over there, you if somebody is going to ask you about you will get the output by over there, hi hello world by. So no, you are not, you will not get the output hi hello world. Why? Because first of all, it will execute this statement, then it will execute this statement, then it will execute the entire statement, then it will execute this statement. So after this statement, we are terminating our entire for loop. Okay, so that is why you are not, we are not able to execute this statement. Okay, so using these two examples, you will able to understand two concepts. One concept is that how our this code gets executed inside our for loop. And second thing is that you can write these statements. Okay, you can write a single statement, you can write inside your your for loop. Okay, so you will not get any error. Now, so see, for loop and how for loop and while loop are similar to each other. In while loop, we generally first initialize, then we check for the condition, then we increment the value. Now in a single line, we are performing all these things. Okay, so if you don't know that how many times our code gets executed, so go for while loop. But if you know that how many times, definite number of times, if you know that your code will be executed that number of time, so go for loop. So this is a simple program. So first of all, it will take the value int I equals to 100. Okay. Then what it will do, it will check for the condition 100 is greater than 0. Yes, condition is true. It will return me what? True. Then it will print the value 100 over there. Okay. After that, it will execute this statement. I is I minus 5. So you know that what 100 minus 5 is what? 95. So you will get the output as what? Now it will update the value of I as 95. So 95 is again greater than 0. So again it will print the value 95 over there. Then again it will decrement the value 5 over there. So only one time, see, we are executing this statement. Otherwise we are executing, keeps on executing these two statements like this. So that is why the output which you will get over there is 100, 95, 90 till you're fine. Once you will get the value I equals to 0, okay, I equals to 0, then what will happen? This condition gets false, so it will terminate our loop. Okay, like this. So similar to our all these loops, we can go for nested loops too. So inside for loop or inside while loop, what you can do, you can write all for loops too. Okay, like this. So these are what your nested for loops. Even inside for loop, you can use while loop too. Always remember, sometimes a student will consider, okay, inside for loop, we cannot use while loop. No, you can use it. Okay. So inside for loop, you can also use while loop too. So how it will execute? First, it will check for this condition. Then it will go, keeps on going this loop at that time, whenever it is satisfying the condition, once it gets terminated, then again it will go and check the condition for outer loop. Okay. So first outer loop gets executed for one case, then it keeps on executing the inner loop. Then when an inner loop gets terminated, then again for the second case, for outer loop gets executed, again inner loop gets executed. Okay. So this is how basically our loop gets executed. So here you know that the outer loop value, I have taken a variable, outer loop equals to 2, and inner loop I have taken a value 5. So 2 is less than 3. Okay, so condition is true. So it will go inside my loop. It will take the value inner loop as 5. Okay, so it will execute the value 5 is less than 8. Again, the condition is true. Then it will print the value of outer loop and inner loop. So outer loop value is what? 2, and the inner loop value is what? 5. So first of all, it will print the value 2 and 5. Now you are updating the value of inner loop as what? Inner plus plus. So now, yes, any question? If you don't have any other question, please mute yourself. Okay. So now what will happen after that? It will keeps on updating the value of inner loop variable. So now the value will become what? 6 over there. Okay. And so what will happen again in the next time? It will again go inside this loop. 6 is less than 8. So see, now my inner loop is executing. Okay. So it will give me 2, and here it will give me 6 value. Then again it will increment the value. Now the value will become 7. So I will get 2, 7 over there. Again it will go increment the value. Now my value will become 8. So once my value will become 8, so this condition will become false, and it will terminate my this loop, and it will execute this statement. Now the value of outer loop will become what? 3. Okay. Initially it is 2, it will become 3. So 3 is less than 3. Again it becomes false. So it will terminate my outer loop too. So now my entire program gets terminated, and it will get executed. So the output which we will get over there is 2, 5, 2, 6, and 2, 7. Okay. So this is the output which you will get if you are going to execute. Similarly, we have other than these statement, I think we have already gone through break as well as break statement. So we have used break statement in your switch statement. Okay. So you know that what is the need of break statement? It will entirely break your loop. If you are using it with your loop, so it will entirely terminate your loop. If you are using with your switch statement, it will terminate your entire switch statement. Okay. So where we can use break statement within switch to stop fall through. So you know what do you mean by fall through? So if I haven't written like case 1, if I am having case 1, if I am written SOP, if I have written case 2, SOP, something like that. Okay. If I am not using break and someone is basically satisfying the case 1, so automatically it will execute my case 2 also. Okay. So if you want to avoid this fall through, then what I will do, I will go for and I will use break. So what will happen if my case 1 is true, then it will never execute my case 2, and that is how I will be able to execute my code. Okay. So generally break, we generally use it where in switch to stop fall through. Inside loops also, if you want to break our loops, like I have shown you one example. In that scenario, we generally use the break statement if you want to terminate our loop inside labeled blocks. So I'm also going to tell you about what are labeled blocks. Again, these labeled blocks are very important in Java. Okay, and always keeps in note. Okay, always keep in your mind is that if we use break statement anywhere else, we will get a compile time error. Okay, so we can use break. Where we can use break, always remember in Java, you can use break only in three cases. If you can use either in the case of switch, you can use in the case of loop, and you can use with labels. Okay, so I will tell you what labels are. Other than that, if you are going to use break statement in some other cases, like inside if statement, so what will happen? You will get an error. Okay. So for that, I just want to show you one example. Okay. So in this example, what is happening? I am having one variable int num is equals to 10. Okay. Now what I am doing, I am just checking the condition whether num is 10 is equal to 1. Okay. So you know that this condition will always give you what your false statement. Okay. Now what I am doing it over here is I am basically breaking the condition. Okay. I have used this keyword, and this keyword is doing what? Wait, yeah. So this keyword is doing what? This keyword is going to break our entire statement. But one thing which I have told you is that you can use break statement only with switch, only with loops. Loops mean you can use with your for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Okay. And you can use with labels. I will tell you what labels are. No need to worry. So here, but here I am using this break statement with your if statement. Okay. So you are not using this break statement inside switch statement, loop statement, or your labels. So that is why if you are going to execute this code, then what will happen? You will get a compile time error, and the error which you will get over there is break outside switch or loop. Okay. So you cannot use your break, you can keyword outside your switch statement or loop. Okay. If you are going to use it, you will get an error. Always remember this point. Okay. So when to use break statement? Inside your for loop, switch statement, or your labels. Other than that, if you are going to use it, you will get an error. Now we have continue statement 2. So what is the difference between break statement and continue statement? In the case of break statement, if I am having a condition, okay, like this. If I have written if I is equals to 0, break. Okay, like this. So if I'm going to execute this code, then what will happen if I have written some statement system.out.println hello. Okay. So if I'm going to execute this code, then what will happen? I will get the output. I will not get any output. Okay. Why I will not get any output? Because the value of I is 0. I is less than 5. So it will satisfy my condition. Now what I have written I is equals to 0. So 0 is equals to 0. It is satisfying the condition. So now I am breaking this. So whenever I am using this break, so break will terminate that particular loop. Okay, always remember. So it will terminate our entire loop, and what will happen? I will go and whatever the statement that are after this for loop will get executed. So if you want to terminate your loop for some specific cases, so it's better and it is advisable to use what your break keyword. But if you are going to use continue, okay, if I am going to use continue, then what will happen? In the case of your continue, what will happen? That particular iteration will not get executed, but it will continue it. What does it mean? It will take I is equals to 0. Okay. So as I told you, this condition gets true. Now it will execute continue statement. Once it will execute the continue statement, so it will directly increment the value I is equals to 1. And now the value of I will become what? 1. So now the value of I is 1. So now it will print the value hello. So how many times hello gets executed? In this case, 4 times hello word gets what you're printed. Okay, like
So,
yes.
excuse me, sir. Sir, हमने
Yes.
जब
Sir,
break
sorry
use
to
किया, तो
What?
if के बाद हम break word तो use कर ही नहीं सकते ना, तो
No. See what I have told you. Always remember. See what error even I have shown you. Don't get confused. See what error I am getting it. Break outside switch or loop. So here I am not using even switch, or here I am not using loop over there. Okay. I can use it. So in reality, actually, whenever I am using this break loop now, so this break loop is terminating what? So for this scenario, it is terminating my for loop. So if I haven't written this for loop over there, then it will throw me an error. Okay. So in reality, you will see that I am using this break inside my for loop. even though I am using, you can use it with if loop or any other statement like that. Even if I am not going to write if statement, it will not throw us any error like that. Got it? But in reality, where I'm using this break loop inside this for loop. Always remember. So using for.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt. We have another class in 2 minutes.
Okay, okay. So now I am going to end this session. So in the next lecture, I'm going to tell you about some more cases related to your continue or as well as for your related to break statement. And I also I'm going to tell you about labels too. Okay. And if you have any doubt related to that, you can directly ask me in the next lecture. And also I'm going to start one more new topic related. Okay.